Welcome to the Political Matrix News. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix. Hey, it's the Political Matrix News. We're doing this on Tuesday, the 28th of January, 2025, a day which will basically bring on a change in the political landscape in the Florida Panhandle, because Jimmy Patronis was, in fact, maybe still, the state of Florida's CFO. He won't get sworn into Congress until April sometimes, whereas the president, Donald Trump, who gave Patronis his endorsement, really could use a few extra votes and the Congress right about now. I'm Rob Milford. I'm out of Orlando. Greg Fink is in Gainesville in the crooked Alachua County, as he claims on a regular basis. And Scott Miller looking very scholarly in his library, where he does all sorts of Scott Miller stuff, and we've never really been able to identify that. The election is over. Jimmy Patronis won, and I'm not even going to worry about the 6th district. That's where Mike Waltz was, who ended up being the president's national security advisor. Nice having a Green Beret in that position, because somebody bad walks through the door, he just pulls out a knife and guts him, and I'm good with that. In fact, I have the knife, right? Can I get the knife for a second? So now that this is done, and we can worry about other things, let's talk about Tallahassee. What the hell's going on in that special session? Which special session, you may ask?
Exactly.
I don't know.
The biggest question is which one, because, I mean, the governor called one for immigration and a few other issues, and I hear it got, from what I'm hearing from rumors, it got hijacked, or it got ended, or it got expedited very quickly to a rapid end. And the results is not all that happy with the people in the House and the Senate. And they decided to have their own special session, in which I don't really understand any. The session starts in like a few weeks anyway. The whole need for a special session, I have no idea what the rapid pace for it is.
Oh, no. It's all theater. It is all theater.
And it's all theater. It's all a joke.
Theater by Ron DeSantis.
By everybody.
Well, by DeSantis, because he's the one. You have to tie it to DeSantis, because it's all about.
He started it.
Yeah, he's the one that called the meeting. So it is all him.
And the issue is now that they can override his veto now, so he doesn't need them anymore, or they don't need him anymore. I mean, and from what I hear, they were talking about overriding 1 or 2 things of his already. And if not, I don't know what. I have not done the research on which ones they overrode the vetoes on. But the thing is that they got the votes now to do it. And so he is not, he's not the king anymore. He doesn't have to wield his power to where he can scare them to death. They're not worried about it. He's a lame duck governor.
Well,
that's just it.
You see, I know they say that and they kick off with all that bravado, but the governor can still do a lot of things to screw them.
Well, he can. He can still screw them. He just can't, and he's probably going to be primarying a lot of people.
Yeah, probably.
Just like Jeb Bush used to do. You get behind my bill, we'll primary you.
Go to that last 2 years with something a little bit better suited to his preferences.
Exactly. So, I mean, right now, I didn't know what the special session from the House and the Senate is about. Do you guys know?
I don't know what the House, what this new one is. It's hard to keep track of these guys. Oh, look at that. Meeting canceled. Yeah, all the subcommittee meetings are canceled for tomorrow.
Why not?
Should all the committee meetings, sub or otherwise. Yeah, I don't know what their theory is there. What the hell is he thinking?
I have no idea. I mean, in fact, this guy from Perez.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they think they're doing. Current month notices.
Yeah. Ron said he had a closed circuit. Ron DeSantis, the governor, had a closed circuit call Monday night to about 13,000 people who were on the call sheet for the Republican Party of Florida. And one of the things he said is he wanted to assist the Trump administration in deporting all these illegal aliens. That was reason number one. And there was the condo crisis. None of us live in condos to know. Apparently, they're in for a world of hurt because of the building. Remember the Miami building that fell down 3 years ago? This is a follow-up to that there are so many that are, frankly, in sad shape. You could have like 30 years of building to replace them all, and there's some way to, I don't know, cover the insurance to make sure people don't get kicked out of their homes. Those high-rises are homes to a lot of people, and there is a very apparently, and I haven't researched it. I don't live in a condo. I don't live in Miami, so it's not really anything to me. But that was one of the other things, and there was another issue as well, but not as big. But so DeSantis calls it just to get some attention on Ron DeSantis, get some attention on Tallahassee. People focus on Tallahassee and pay attention there. I don't know, but the legislature played their games, and I think they're playing the games to put the illegal alien problem into the Secretary of Agriculture, which is ridiculous. He already regulates my damn pistol permit. He regulates the gas pumps. Right. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Don't we have a law enforcement official? Oh, yeah, the governor is the top legal person, a law enforcement person in the state.
Maybe the Attorney General should do it. Maybe the Attorney General's office should do it.
I definitely agree with the Attorney General.
I mean, the reality here is that, no offense to farmers who need immigrant workers, migrant workers. I know there's a lot of them that do. However, that being said, I mean, putting in charge the legal standing of the enforcement of the, illegal immigration issue in the hands of the people that regulate all the farms and agriculture and everything else is really, putting the wolf in front of the hen house. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. There's no logic here in any of this.
Well, does that mean the House and the Senate are lining up behind Wilton to get him elected governor in a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, I guess.
No, well, that's the conversation in Tallahassee.
Right. I mean, he wants to run for governor. Matt Gaetz wants to run for governor. Everybody wants to run for governor. Give him all a trophy. Basically, it's like a big Oprah show. Everybody who wants to run for governor here.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give them all a car and call it a day. And just find somebody who can actually really lead the state. Because if nobody's noticed here, everybody's coming to Florida after the California fires, everything else going on all over the rest of the country in New York. In fact, the snow here in Florida actually helped make Florida look even more amenable to people who might think they might ever see snow again. I mean, and I've talked to a lot of realtors. A lot of realtors are getting a lot of more interest now in Florida. Actually does have 3 seasons at least instead of just 2.
By the way, Scott ignored me. Scott ignored me last week. I texted you Wednesday, said, dude, send me some more pictures of the snow. Now, I've been to Scott's house. It's on a slope, a pretty severe slope. I actually sent you the satellite imagery of your beat to hell pickup truck parked in front of your house. And I was ready to see people skiing down your street.
Well, they certainly could have.
They have ski.
Yeah, people have skis. Yeah.
Well, actually, what everyone was doing was getting pool floats.
Close enough.
And those that have golf carts would get the golf cart and a rope and pull people on pool floats.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then when they slam brakes on that and the brakes don't work.
It's like skiing in the snow.
The pool float, gets punctured by a stick or a brick. I mean, come on, whatever.
Hey.
I'm not advocating for the wisdom of the practice. I'm just telling you what happened.
It's safer in Tallahassee. I mean, the one thing here in Tallahassee is, we have a lieutenant governor who's just waiting to do something. She's waiting to be elevated. Or she's going to be going to a president of a university, which is most likely her next move. When that happens, then we're going to have the governor there all by himself, just wondering, what's going to happen next. And so, I think, picking his next lieutenant governor is going to be very important. And that's one thing that we're going to see in the next 6 months because, Nunes will be leaving as the lieutenant governor. And so I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
And what do you think the lieutenant governor is going to do?
Well, I mean, I think we had to have one, don't we? Or can we go without one?
Well, I mean, we don't have to have one. I mean, we probably will get one just because it's prudent. But the thing is I don't remember the last time a lieutenant governor became anything other than a retired lieutenant governor.
That's very true. They haven't.
Who succeeded?
Yeah.
Who succeeded Lawton Childs?
Yeah, Lawton Childs may be one of the few because he was Reuben Askew's lieutenant governor, wasn't he?
Oh, it was. I didn't know that.
When he died, the lieutenant governor stepped up, I think, for a month or 2 or 3 at the most.
Something like that.
I think it was December that he died. I mean, just had a heart attack there in the governor's mansion one afternoon, keeled over. It was a Saturday. I remember that. I was doing a story. I was actually in Fort Lauderdale. I was sort of doing the death watch for Joe DiMaggio. And I got a phone call about 6, 7 o'clock on Saturday night from the network in New York saying, get on a plane, get to Tallahassee right now. The governor's died. And it's like, okay, grabbed all my stuff. They're making my plane reservation. I'm getting in the car, driving to the airport. I was a mile from the airport. The phone rang and it said, don't worry about it. Going back to your hotel. It's like, okay, all right. So that's why I remember vividly, frankly, a Saturday night, and I'm going to guess it was December. So that lieutenant governor got to do some stuff. Guys, you know, I think I'm at a point here where I feel so out of the loop. Here we are. I'm at the Mouse. Okay.
Well,
not even 5 miles to Disney from more like really straight line 3, but it dominates life here in Central Florida. The amusement business does. There. The tourism, hospitality. You know, I wear a name tag during my street job during the day, and I feel more and more and more disconnected with Florida and Florida politics on a regular basis, and it bothers me.
I think it's on purpose.
It gives me.
I think they're trying to make it that way.
Fresh. Keeps me fresh about that, but it's the lack of day-to-day general knowledge that just is just horrible. Just horrible.
I mean, the hardest part is that there's not very many news outlets putting out what Tallahassee's doing unless they're, buying a story. That's it. I mean, there's not a lot of real honest journalism coming out of Tallahassee or
Very
anything.
True.
Miami's not putting it out there. Orlando's not putting it out there. As far as politics, you just buy your story with pure scorch. I mean, everything there's, has a bias and everything with it. And so, I mean, to get a good, objective, unbiased look at what's going on there, you basically have to go there and watch it. Then right now with all the chaos going on, basically the moral of the story is there's nothing really going on. I mean, it's a mess. I mean, we haven't seen Tallahassee and this many different pages in a long time.
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting. Here we are now in an odd-numbered year. We've just done a solid year of talking nothing but presidential politics and Kamala this and Trump that and, Merck and Fink. And, I had 4 Gregs working in my phone at one time. And you and Merck are the last 2 left. Name. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Wow.
Well, I mean, one thing we do have to talk about is President Trump is keeping it fresh. Now, last night he did a wonderful federal spending freeze.
Yep.
It froze a few friends of mine. They lost their jobs today, or they lost their income today because they're contractors with the National Institution of Health, and they have no funding right now, and they have no salaries until further notice, and so it kind of freaked them out. And I mean, there's also rumors, about the possible Medicaid portals that were deemed not working all day. And so they had to get that fixed because Medicaid was not supposed to be part of the freeze at all. And so somehow they took a big sledgehammer instead of a scalpel. They were surprised that the sledgehammer acted like a sledgehammer instead of acting like a scalpel. And so they need to fine tune a few things. I'm also sure there's quite a few people still in the administration that have not been rooted out that are making sure that everything possible happens and make it look like Trump is failing to every degree possible. And so anything can go wrong. It will go wrong in the federal administration of when they try to increase things or downsize things and everything else. I mean, did y'all see the confirmation of exit?
Yes.
I mean, J.D. Vance had to come in and save the day.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like to say right now, Mitch McConnell is the new John McCain. He is now the new John McCain of the Senate.
I
So we
think
have
he's
two
been
more
John McCain
years.
for a while.
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
now we have 2 more years of tight races and tight votes where we can expect McConnell to do the vote down, just like McCain did on the health care bill. And so
Yeah.
I expect that McConnell to gladly take that seat, bathe in it, relish in it, and see his way out the door in 2 years.
Along with Susan McConnell from Maine and what's her favorite,
Yeah, well,
Lisa
they're always that
Murkowski in
way.
Alaska. And it's very,
Murkowski.
and it's a solid red state. In Alaska, obviously, defense is 1, 2, 3. I can count of 4 bases I know of in Alaska.
Right.
Greg, were you stationed there too?
No, I was not, no.
Okay.
My dad went there several times.
Yeah. But the point being that it's a very serious red state, and she was like, no.
It is.
On a Secretary of freaking Defense. You know, the good news is we all basically, Scott, more than you and I, Scott lives now much more adjacent to the Gulf of America.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, just to correct us, correct a little note from the beginning of the segment, it was Buddy McKay that succeeded Lawton Childs when he died.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Buddy McKay.
Yeah. You know, I actually went to...
Is he still alive?
You're talking about Ruben Askew. I actually went to his funeral, and there were not... The immediate the immediate family was there, and maybe 15 other people, because they...
Ruben Askew?
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Ruben Askew was the governor from Pensacola, who's the only governor, I
I
think,
was going to say, dang, his law partners didn't show up, because they sure bragged about being his law partners.
Well, there were about 20 people. About 20 people. Cemetery right there on Scenic Highway.
Summit.
By the Bluffs.
Yeah, somebody can say that.
Yeah. He's in
cemetery.
From the street, you look back and to the right, and there's like a line of trees back there, and he's just inside that line of trees closer to the road. But it's maybe a row or two. Nice headstone, kind of red marble. It's interesting. Is it the only Pensacola governor in modern times? Is that what it really amounts to?
Until that.
Shit. Well, he wouldn't be a Pensacola one, would he?
No,
he'd be Niceville.
He'd be the Niceville guy. Where is he doing?
He's an Okaloosa guy.
You know where he's doing his TV show out of D.C.?
No, I think somebody said that he's moving to Santa Barbara. That's where his wife lives, and they got a house there.
To where?
Santa Barbara, California.
It's his moving to California.
He'll sit right in.
I mean, that's where they have a house there already.
He'll run for governor in California.
He should.
Good.
He should.
Gets him the hell out of
Florida.
Florida.
Would be perfect for him.
Perfect.
He does have the personality for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Absolutely.
they're going to recall Newsom anyway.
Yep. So
it'll make it a good recall.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. It'll be very telling if he changes his residency, his voting, his driver's license, things like that. That would be. When that happens, we know. We absolutely know. Because Donald Trump did that when he ran for president. And, what else?
Exactly.
And Dick Cheney in 2000, when they were working on who the vice president was going to be.
He went to Wyoming and changed it.
Dick Cheney was not in Wyoming. Dick Cheney was in Highland Park. His office was downtown Dallas. His house was in Highland Park, right next to the guy, Phil Romano, the restaurant guy. And I had to do the stakeout at Dick Cheney's house for 3 days. No one ever came out. The limo delivered groceries, and that was about it. And then it was a done deal.
Why he wasn't over in Midland?
No, Bush was in Midland, but since Bush was from Texas, governor down in Austin, you can't have both of them from the same state.
Right, exactly.
So he got on the corporate plane, flew up to Wyoming, and changed all that around. In 1 day. 1 day. Got his driver's license.
That's all it takes.
And voter registration. Then flew back to Dallas. So there you have it. He always had a place up there. So
today is January 20. Real quick, today is January 28th. We're a week or so into the administration. And what do y'all think about how much has been done already by Trump?
Scott?
Well, he was already making moves before he he was even inaugurated. I mean, there are a number of people that credit that Hamas deal to him. I mean, Biden can crow about all he wants to, but at the end of the day, they weren't afraid of Biden, because if they had been afraid of Biden, they'd have stopped this foolishness 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear about the press secretary? She was talking about in her briefing today about, I guess we stopped $50 million worth of condoms going to Gaza.
I know, right? Why were we sending $50 million to condoms there to begin with?
To prevent more Palestinians. To prevent more Palestinians, which is a really good thing. Jordan doesn't want them. I don't think Egypt really wants them, but they have the capacity to take the 2 million Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip. Israel wants the Gaza Strip. They just want it. Okay?
Yeah, but we'll need to send them
demilitarized or whatever.
We're not hailing their birth control.
Listen. Personally, I think that when you talk about government wasteful spending, I mean, they're burying the lead by talking about how we've decided Trump's a bad guy because he's killing this health issue for these Hamas people. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Why are we paying for birth control for anyone?
And why is everybody picking on the press secretary? Did she do a bad job today?
I mean,
is there something I'm missing? I mean, there's a lot of Democrats that are saying that she is one of the worst press conferences in 10 or 15 years. And every single snippet I guess
they didn't been watching press conferences for the last 4 years.
I mean, every snippet I saw, it looks pretty decent, pretty good. I mean, we got Rob Acosta. He resigned today.
Jim Acosta.
Online.
Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
Jim, whatever.
He was the primary antagonist. But the difference, I'll tell you this, because I know Sam Donaldson. Sam was not antagonistic. Yeah. He was a challenge, maybe a bit confrontational. Acosta was just flat out antagonistic against Donald Trump. And
not brilliant.
What?
Not brilliant.
Well, no, Acosta was trying to put on a show.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why he was at odds with the president, because he was trying to be at odds with him. He was trying to say inflammatory things so that the spotlight would turn to him.
Hey, Sam Donaldson was a very creature of history. I mean, he's a very smart man. And, him and Katie, all that crew back there, ABC News time frame, I mean, they were very well-studied people, well-learned people. I mean, Mr. Acosta is an entertainer.
Yeah.
Who reads the news. On that happy note, I'm going to go enjoy having no Jim Acosta on CNN. That's terrific. There's much, and I would dare say, having paid attention to the office of the presidency for the last 50 or so years, that Donald Trump in 1 week has done more than a lot of presidents have done in the first year. And there is a long, long list of things to happen. Biden, of course, blew every record for presidential pardons completely out of the water. And it turns out that he has issued more pardons than any, let's see, I think you have to go back to Truman. From Truman forward, Biden issued more pardons than all of those presidents combined, 10 presidents or so, which is pretty amazing. And you realize on the Friday before, 2 weeks ago Friday, he said, well, now the Equal Rights Amendment is part of the U.S. Constitution. Did anybody else pick up on that?
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. So, thank God in Greyhound he's gone. And quite frankly, if I was the White House, I'd have said, no, Joe, you know what? We're going to get an Amtrak train to take you back to Delaware. You can fly your own ass out to California on your own damn dime. You and the millions of dollars that you got from China and the Ukraine and every place else was paying you a ton of money. So on that happy note, on behalf of Greg Fink and Scott Miller, I'm Rob Milford in Orlando. Thank you for joining us for the Political Matrix News.